Hi guys, since March Madness is coming up, we're gonna talk about everything you need to know in March about March Madness, not in 2 minutes and 59 seconds. It's gonna take longer. Well, this bracket may or may not look familiar to you. This bracket is the bracket for March Madness. Well, what is March Madness? We need to first know the NCAA Division 1, which has 364 teams. There are 32 conferences, two ways to get into a tournament, into the March Madness tournament. One way is an automatic or an at-large. An automatic is when you can automatically go through. This can happen is if you win a conference. A conference is basically a tournament. So if you win a conference, regardless of your season, you will go through into March Madness. At large, if you don't win, then there's a selection committee that chooses which teams go through and those in which teams make the bracket. You may be confused that why there's this here. There's 64 teams who just go through, but some teams they aren't sure about. So they basically say, okay, these teams that we aren't sure about, you guys will basically just match up and play games against each other just to make a spot in the bracket. So, so before all this though, they do something which is called seeding. Well, what is exactly this seeding? Seeding is ranking the teams. So, ranking the teams. They seed them, or in other ways, rank the teams. After that, they get split up into different regions or areas. This is the Midwest, this is the West, this is the South, and this is the East. In these different regions, the bracket is one-time elimination. So the team that wins from these two will go on to the next round to compete against the winner of these two. The winner will go to here to compete against these two, which will compete against that, and basically on and on and on. So let's take Louisville and Creighton will go. Let's say Auburn wins and Louisville wins. So then they'll come up here. So then there'll be Michigan and UC San Diego. Let's say it'll be these two games. So they come here, they come here. Let's say they eventually come here. So basically what they do is if you win, you go on to the next round. In the next round, all the winners will come and compete against each other. So let's say Auburn, so Louisville and Auburn. Auburn and Louisville will come. So then Auburn and Louisville will come here and here. And they will play a match against each other. The winner will come here. And the same will happen for Michigan and UC San Diego. Let's say Michigan wins, comes here. Texas A&M and Yale, they go. Texas A&M come here. So Ole Miss and Blake, let's say Ole Miss comes. Ole Miss, and remember we did Michigan and Ole Miss. Let's say Ole Miss wins. And then Auburn and Ole Miss are both here. So, that's basically how the bracket works. Winners go into the next round. They play against the winner from the other match. Makes sense, right? So these two will come here, the winner from here, let's say Auburn, and these two's winner will go against here. In one sentence, it's a bracket with winners against winners. If you lose, you don't push. That's how it works. Then, after they get split up into these regions. In the regions, they're giving another seeding. They're giving after this, if you want. So they're giving another seeding with the 16 teams in a conference, in a region. They get a seeding with 16 teams. Well, let's say first says, let's just as an example, let's say here Auburn says, hey, well, we got first. What do we get? So since Auburn is first, the selection committee says, hey yo, good job. So you'll go up against the 16th. They'll go up against the 16th seed, or in this case, like I said, they'll go up against basically the 16th seed, which is to be decided because they'll just play a game to see if they even get in the bracket. So in theory, since Auburn will be playing, so let's use this. This is a better example since there isn't a blank spot. Houston will be playing against SIUE. So in theory, they'll get an easier game because they're going against the team that has a lower bracket and a lower seeding. Though this does not mean they get a necessary easy game. Like as we are saying, Houston is the team there. So Houston, since they're first, they get to go against seed 6, which is 16th. In theory, they should get an easier game, but sometimes the team that is lower beats the team that is higher. That is called an upset. But when a team like SIUE goes and has a really good run, maybe gets to the Elite 8 or Sweet 16, they call that a Cinderella. Why is it called a Cinderella? Because no one thought Cinderella would ever reach the ball, but she did, somehow. So that's basically what they're saying here. They're going on a Cinderella because no one ever thought they'd do that, but they did anyways. Here, as you can say, you can create your own bracket. So, where do you come on all this? You can watch games basically on anywhere by using March Madness Live. So, create a bracket here, and in this bracket, you can create a bracket. What do you do when you press this button, creating a bracket? You predict every single game. So, where do you come? You can either watch the. So, where do you come? You'd probably want to know this. You can either just watch the game that's here on your teams, or another more exciting way of joining in is make a bracket. When you make a bracket, you predict every single game. So here, if you were to make your own bracket, you'd enter it. And let's say Houston and SIUE, you would choose Houston to go through. And you would be here if you choose Houston. Well, you could also have points and play with your friends. You could say, okay, you can get points. In the first round, if you get a match correct, you shall get 1 point. There's strategy to this, but it's so unpredictable that no one has ever got a perfect bracket. The chances of you getting a perfect bracket are super low. The chances are, to be exact, 1 in 9.23 quintillion. This may not be exactly correct, but for that I'll need a whole other video. So we're just gonna skip that for today. And that's super fun. In the first round, you get 1 point for making something correct. In the second round, you get 2. In the Sweet 16, which is the third round, basically, you get 4. And so you can see where it's going. You get more points for every single one you say correct. But people may not think this, but just a tip. You should probably think about the first round seeding. Because if you get too many wrong in the first round, then maybe you just say, let's make let's do it here. So let's say Houston and SIUE can't do it, and you say SIUE come and Georgia comes. Let's say the exact opposite happens and Gonzaga and Houston come. That means just because you chose Georgia and SIUE, that means whatever happens next, the trail from these two first matches will be all has to be wrong. So the first round games are more important than you actually may think. Here, 1 out of 9.23 quintillion. But you can just make brackets, have fun, and watch it. That's everything you need to know about March Madness in now 11 and approximately 11 and 10 seconds. That'll be a wrap, guys. Bye.